To sum up in semi-understandable language for the rest of us, basically studies were done in the Izu Island region of Japan, which confirmed the existence of SEMs, or seismo-electromagnetic effects, which is a sciencey term for physical, electric, and magnetic field disruptions, which happen a month before major magnitude 6.0 earthquakes and volcanic eruptions, which build in intensity and culminate to a peak just hours before these quakes and eruptions. There seems to be a which came first, the chicken or the egg debate in the scientific community. Are the earth changes below causing the magnetic and electrical field changes above before these events, or the other way around, or both? Whichever it is, the correlation definitely exists. Could comets and electromagnetic atmospheric phenomenon from above affect seismic activity below? Before we blow our minds with the year 1816, known as 1800 and frozen to death, the infamous Napoleon's comet of that time, and the New Madrid quakes of 1811 that decimated 5 Midwestern states, let's go back to the late 1500s through mid-1600s and have a look at the freakish phenomenon going on at that time, not just in America, but all around the world. 1582, comet, earthquake near Lima, a tempest or violent windy storm in May. 1583, earthquake in England. Not London, the whole of England. The plague sets in. 1586, comet again. Earthquake in Lima again. Plague in Turkey, locusts and plague. 1590, comet. An earthquake shook Europe and also the Azores. Europe? All of Europe? What kind of event shakes all of Europe? There was a plague in Finland and pestilence. 1593, comet, earthquake in Persia, severe winter in 1594. Pay attention to these severe winters in relation to these patterns. Their relevance will become apparent soon enough. 1597, comet, pestilence and great plague in England. Cannons were fired and aromatics burnt to shake and purify the air. 1599, comet, plague in Italy, Portugal, and Spain. 1600, comet, earthquake in Italy, pestilence everywhere that scourged Europe for some years. 1607, comet, great atmospheric commotions, here we go, swell of the ocean and rivers, sea levels rising, floods, Great Lakes, anyone? A winter of uncommon severity followed all over the world. The whole world? Was this Halley's Comet? 1609, comet, another earthquake at Lima, eruption of Mount Etna, plague, sailors seized with calenture, which is a delirium normally suffered in the tropics, electromagnetic interference of brain function, perhaps? 30 dead bodies in one day thrown overboard in Sir Thomas Gates' fleet bound to Virginia. Dead from what? Delirium? Neptune, the god of the sea, and Jove, which is Jupiter, the god of thunder in the sky, were on bad terms all year. This means fighting or catastrophic weather. So rough were the waters that it was many years before sleek Panope, who is a female spirit of the seawater that accompanies Poseidon, would gamble on the level brine again, meaning there were no calm sea waters for many years. 1612, comets. Storms at sea laid 2,000 dead carcasses on the English coast, 1,200 on the Dutch shore. A plague in Constantinople destroyed 200,000 people. In summer, Europe was covered by grasshoppers. It is a known fact that electromagnetic waves affect grasshoppers and locust swarms. EME complexes are fitted to vehicles and unmanned aerial vehicles today just to combat flying locusts in transit. So what drove them all into Europe? 1614, comet, suspected eruption of Mount Etna. 1618, 2 comets, earthquake in Rhetia, Switzerland, hurricane in Bermuda. 1620, comet, followed by cold winter, violent storm and tides. 1625, comet, eruptions of Hekla in Iceland and Palma in Spain. 1632, Mount Vesuvius lost 200 feet of altitude by burning. Earthquake of Naples. 1633, comet again, another severe winter afterwards. Etna is volcanic for 5 years and an earthquake in London. 1635, comet, another eruption of both Vesuvius and Etna and earthquakes. In America, a memorable tempest. Now, how windy and violent does a storm have to get to be memorable 200 years later? 1638, earthquake in Calabria destroyed 30,000 lives. Also extensive earthquakes in America in June. America? Not Delaware, but known America? Tremendous storms of wind in autumn. In 1639, swarms of small flies on the sea near the coast. Like all insects, flies are affected by electromagnetic fields. 1640, a remarkable meteor in America at great elevation early in the morning. Very curious meteors seen at Boston the following years. Curious, as in not expected. 1647, comet, earthquake in America. America? Where, all of settled America? Plague in London, and in America influenza was general and very fatal. 1652, another comet. Earthquake in South America, another eruption of Mount Vesuvius. 1658, earthquake in America. 1661, comet and earthquake the next year in America, followed by the Great Plague of 1665. Aside from putting the modern-day man-made climate change hysteria into a different perspective, I don't know about you, but I find it strange that comets, earthquakes, volcanoes, plagues, strange brain diseases, raging floodwaters and seas, and electromagnetic-affected insect swarms seem to all get out of control around the same periods of time together. Coincidence? Perhaps. But what we should be asking is, with all of this electromagnetic and geological turmoil going on worldwide, is it possible or so far-fetched to suspect a combination of, or even one major cataclysmic event around the same time may be the reason the maps look so drastically different afterwards? Perhaps causing the formation of the Great Lakes and turning California into an island?